Rama 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 Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumar Arpanamastu. Our soulful thanks to Bhagwan for giving us this opportunity to sing his powerful name. In his powerful presence. How can we ever thank him sufficiently for all this? Words would always be inadequate. We have offered with all our love and gratitude the Nama lotuses at his feet. And before we conclude the session with our prayers to Bhagwan for today's situation, we shall see something about Bhagwan's gurus. We all know something about how Bhagwan came to the south. It was the book Lights on Yoga by Shri Aurobindo, which Bhagwan read, impressed him so much that he came in search of Shri Aurobindo. When he entered after so many difficulties, it was not easy for a school teacher to take long leave from school and board a train with dignity. And many of us know what happened. He had to get into the train amidst all that crowd jostling. And when he came inside and the ticket collector came, all that he could find was his own hand coming out, and there was nothing else. His pocket. Somebody had picked his pocket, and there was nothing left, which included his dignity as well. So imagine, as soon as he started the journey, he was stripped of all that he considered a strength. The money was not there, the ticket was not there. He was left to beg. He was still new to all this, but the people who were there sympathized, collected some money, which was enough to reach up to a certain point. And again he had to go and beg some people to collect money. But he understood one thing. All that he considered was security and strength. Left him at the time he needed the most. He knew that it was God's way of teaching him to depend only on God as security. God was his only strength. Because he was meant for it, he was well prepared for the lesson. He took it as grace, a gracious lesson from God. Had I been in his place, I would have grumbled. I would have lamented, God had let me down. Wasn't I? After all, I was only going in search of God. Why would he do it to me? Or I might have thought it was inauspicious. I should go back and start some other time. So you see, he was marked from the beginning for the journey, for the pilgrimage, all through his life. Shri Aurobindo's ashram. Suddenly, he felt a strange and deep peace, filling his every pore of his being. And he knew instantly this peace was Shri Aurobindo. And he also knew there was such high life, a higher life which could fill us with such peace. So the journey started well with a well-prepared lesson for well-prepared mind. God keeps arranging things even in our lives. He orchestrates the nature, people and situations in such a way that one could clearly see that every arrangement, everything is only a blessing meant to teach us a definite lesson. A lesson that is very necessary for our spiritual growth. And yet, we fail to see that whatever happens, happens for the best. How many times we fail, and some people all through their life never get to know this. So here, Bhagwan understood. He was very much drawn by the vision of Shri Aurobindo. Shri Aurobindo found that the enlightenment was only the beginning of a whole new evolution further. To understand his integral yoga, it's a little difficult in the beginning until you get used to this idea that the body we think is inert, and it's not inert for us because there's life in it. If there is no life in the body, we know it's worse than a stone. At least a stone would stay a stone for a long, long time. But the body would degenerate, start stinking. But here, Shri Aurobindo says, a very high divine energy, far, far above the ordinary level of energy that we are familiar with, could be brought down into the body so that one day the body cells would not degenerate, and it could also be turned into Chaitanya, a descent of the divine energy into the body. And he knew he had to do it for the entire mankind, not just one person or two or three or four, for the entire mankind. He knew it should be a collective evolution for the whole humankind. And he wanted to lift up the conscious level of the entire mankind, which needed a very special Shakti, for which he once again went deeper and deeper into the depths of his being to invoke this huge grace. And they say that 1926, November 24th, was the day this huge new divine energy, more powerful than anything else before, had descended into him. They call it Siddhi Day. I believe he even said that after that, the children that would be born in Auroville would belong to a different race of human beings. The goal of Shri Aurobindo's idea of evolution was to produce a new race of supermen. He said it starts with a stone, from the stone to the plant, and from the plant, the animal, and from the animal to the human, and then the devas, and then the gradations, the upper gradations. Shri Aurobindo said, from the mind, the evolution is possible for the entire human kind to go on into the overmind, the region of overmind, and then the supermind. So in order to lift the entire human kind to a higher conscious level, he even stopped giving darshan. He went into a recluse. But this is what I understand from what he has written. Bhagwan Yogi Ramsuratkumar was very, very drawn to this idea of a new race of supermen, the higher evolution of the consciousness of the entire mankind appealed to him so much that he later said that he had been sent to this world on a secret mission by his father, the Divine Supreme Father. And this was linked with Shri Aurobindo's work, the upliftment of the conscious level of the entire mankind. Now, why do we talk about Shri Aurobindo today? to a place in Chennai run by Shri Bhavatarini Amma. There she has kept Shri Aurobindo's Relic Center. She's already running it. And there is also a Divine Mother Peetam, a shrine of the Divine Mother. And now, today, she had installed a Murti of Yogi Ramsuratkumar Bhagwan there. So it's 3 in 1. I was surprised, absolutely delighted that the day has come that Bhagwan's Murti is being kept next to Shri Aurobindo's shrine, and they are worshipped together. The master and the disciple. Bhagwan often said that meeting people and blessing them was only a small fraction of his huge cosmic work. That most of his work was hidden. So when I went there, they did all this anointment, abhishekam, puja, and I was absolutely delighted because they're working together. Though they have laid their physical body, they are so much alive. Their active grace is more powerful than ever. And they are working towards this upliftment of the consciousness of the entire mankind, a collective transformation, a collective evolution, which Shri Aurobindo hopes at the end would produce a race of supermen. Though of course Bhagwan had 3 gurus. From Shri Aurobindo he went over to Bhagwan Shri Ramana, and then finally to Papa Ramdas. But his work, he used to call it father's work. His father's work is closely associated with Shri Aurobindo's work. So it is only an attempt to try to understand what it could possibly mean to us who know nothing about this. It's very, very difficult to evolve, even for one person, how difficult it is for the Guru to uplift one single person. We all know how difficult it is for us to change ourselves. Though we expect all the others to change according to our ideas, we know how difficult it is to change ourselves. Now, here are a band of great, great, great people who are attempting to change, push the whole mankind to a higher evolution. How much more work should be involved? I remember Bhagwan referring to it as inhuman labor. I also remember once when he had come to the breakfast hut, Bhagwan had tears in his eyes and said, "Beggars like this, they are candles that burn on both ends. The candle burns itself away in order to give light to others. And that's what all these great souls, the great people, the great masters have been doing. What is the upshot of this all? At one point, a race of supermen would be born. The mind, from how it developed, how it evolved, from the consciousness of a stone to the higher consciousness of the human today, the enlightenment. And Sri Aurobindo says there are other levels of consciousness beyond that. The overmind, the supermind, the supramental. No matter what work is involved in this, let us at least try and understand what it could possibly mean to all of us. We have to, even though we cannot change other people, we have to make an attempt to evolve ourselves. How do we do that? Only by God consciousness. We have to somehow or the other connect with God, either by chanting His name or by doing puja, or if you are more pure, more involved, by deep meditation, or by inquiry, self-inquiry. Any means to connect with God. For many, many of us, with ordinary bent of mind, with no serious attempt at purification, the Nama chanting is the best. This is what has been recommended by Bhagwan. Nama or Nami ek hi hai. They are one and the same. When you chant the name, the Nami is instantly present. This is what Bhagwan taught us. When you chant the name of Shiva, Shiva is instantly present. When you chant the name of Rama, Rama is instantly present. When you chant the name Yogi Ramsuratkumar, my father is instantly present. When you chant the name, there is no need even to pray separately. The Nama will do everything. Nama is the conscious entity. Nama is the eternal entity. It is the supreme consciousness. It's not an inert name. It's a form of very active grace, very powerful and active grace. And so, at least for personal transformation, we must learn to connect with God somehow or the other, and what can be best. The chanting of Nama, whether you have faith or not, concentration or not, devotion or not, chant the name, chant the name, chant the name. Practice, practice, practice. This is what Bhagwan kept booming. He said, you have to keep trying and trying and trying, and this trying is tapas. And that's all we can do. We can only try. The end result is not in our hands, only in the hands of God. And therefore, we have to appeal to the generosity of Bhagwan to bless us with constant remembrance of the name. Each Nama does its work of purification, transformation. No single Nama goes waste. And let us pray again and again so that we be not caught by the traps of Maya, but be fitting instruments in the hands of the Divine. Bhagwan, please bless us with the attitude of being good instruments in your hands, and go about our life with gratitude to you for all the blessings you have already given. And Bhagwan, the way the world is today, how can we even connect evolution, the collective evolution of consciousness of the whole world? But then a situation like this which has developed is definitely meant for cleansing the entire humanity. Many people would have gone through difficulty after difficulty, which would have brought about a shift in their consciousness. People would have realized their helplessness, utter helplessness. People would have found out that money is no security, army is no security, people are no security. It's only values based upon our connection with God. Bhagwan, we beg you to kindly intervene and immediately at that to free the entire mankind from the dreadful grip of this virus and bring back a dharmic normalcy in all life. And Bhagwan, kindly remove, uproot all the negative tendencies from the human mind, especially the panic, anger, jealousy, grief, and desire after desire for worldly things. Only you could do this. So we beg you again and again to uproot this panic, arrest the spread of the diseases, enter the appropriate medicines which could kill the virus once for all. And all those great sevaks who are doing tapas unselfishly for the sake of the others by fighting the disease at the very risk of their lives, please give them protection and a boost to economy. They say it's no more falling, that we should not use the word at all. It's picked up and it's very much on its way to further and further picking up. Thanks to the Divine, we beg you again to support all those measures towards its development. And Bhagwan, once again, we beg you soulfully, intensely, with all our heart, that we should always remember the purpose of life, which is God. Remembrance of God is the only purpose of life. This body is given to us only for that purpose. The life is given to us only for that purpose. The environment is given to us only for that purpose. To remember God, somehow or the other, to connect with Him. Everything else is meant for this. So let's remember and appeal to Bhagwan again and again for trying and trying, as he said, for the fulfillment of the purpose of life. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.